string functions that we have with SQL. So those are actually the particulars that we will be looking at. Yeah. So that being said, so I want us to get right into the bits of looking at the first thing, that is actually the length. So actually we are going to introduce what are string functions. Then of course we'll get to look at the particulars in handling the string functions. So so I think that being said, just before we get into handling the bits of the string functions, or the first part of it, that is actually introducing the string functions. Do we have anyone who has a question? Just as open up the SQL. Anyone with a question? Okay, so let me just open up this and use just the test. That's actually what we'll be using. Yeah, so let's just create a new script that we are going to use for this. So just create a new script. So let's just name this script string functions. Okay. Yeah, so let's first of all get to look at what are string functions, so that of course we can be able to understand the first bit of MySQL. So the string functions, understanding first of all what string functions are. So of course we'll be using MySQL, or we'll be using the SQL, so that of course you can be able to understand this particular. So of course the understanding of strings is just the same understanding of strings in programming. So we can be able to say that in MySQL, actually the string functions, they are built-in functions. So they allow you, so that of course you can be able to perform operations on strings. So these functions, they can actually be used so that you can be able to manipulate, you can be able to compare, and also you can be able to extract, yeah, the substrings and the substrings from the existing strings that you have. So some of the common functions that we have would include things like the concatenation, where we can actually be able to concatenate string 1 and string 2. Then of course, we also have got things like the length, yeah, the length of a particular string. So that actually would tell us maybe the length of a string. We can be able to change a particular string to a lowercase or to an uppercase. We can be able to actually also get substrings out of the strings that that we have. Then of course, yeah, and so on. So that we'll get to look at these particulars one by one. So we say that the string functions, they're the function that actually allows you, so that you can be able to perform different kinds of manipulations on strings. Yeah. So that's actually what the understanding of string functions is. Yeah. So yeah. So the SQL strings functions, you can be able to see the particular list of the SQL functions. Yeah. So we have got the CII, yeah. We have got the character index, difference, left, length, lowercase, n characters, the part index, yeah, the quote, name, replace, replicate, reverse, write, rtrim, soundex, space. We have got the string, we have got the string input, the stuff, substring, the Unicode, upper, trim, concat, yeah, and so on and so forth. So let's get to look at these particulars one by one, so that of course we can be able to understand how they work. So length, we did say that length is just the one that actually returns for us the length of a particular string. Yeah. So the length of a particular string, we can actually be able to select, for example, let's say that want to get to look at the length of maybe a particular string. So let's say like maybe, let's say select the length, yeah, the length of, let's say maybe a particular string like, let's just give a string like maybe Desmond, sorry. Yeah, that's the particular string that we want to look at its length. Yeah, so let's close that. Yeah, so of course, basically, when I run this particular line, yeah, I would get my particular output here as 7, because 7 is actually the length of Desmond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's actually, it returns for me 7, because 7 is basically the length. So that's actually what we have in terms of the getting to look at the length of a particular string. So it did say that the length returns for us the length of the particular string that we are having. Yeah. So the next thing is actually the so of course we have understood what it actually returns. The input is actually the particular string that actually we have there, and then of course we have got the method actually accept a single parameter in that manner. We have got the upper and the lower. So let's begin with the upper. The upper basically what it does, it converts for us a particular string to an uppercase. Yeah, so that's actually what the string function upper does for us. So like for example, yeah, so we just did say that it actually converts a particular string into the uppercase. Like for example, we can have a particular string, say let's just do the example direct and say select upper. Yeah, upper. Then of course we just want to give them the uppercase of let's say hello world. Hello world. Hello world. That is it. Yeah, select upper hello world in that manner. So yeah, so let's run this. That should be able to run. So you can be able to see that the output of hello world is given here as now hello world, because it has actually been the select. Of course, it has actually given me the upper, or it has converted for me the hello world now into an uppercase. Yeah, and the same thing also happens in the case where we are having the string, which is actually given for us in uppercase. We can also be able to change everything to a lowercase. So how can we be able to change to a lowercase? We'll just say select lower. Yeah, so that's actually the one that we use for lowercase, lower, yeah. Then of course, let's have like, yeah, in that manner. So let's see how the lower actually would have for us this particular. So let's run this. So of course you can be able to see that it converts for me hello world here now into a lowercase. Yeah. So that's actually how the lower function works. So the lower function, we said it converts a string to a lowercase. The upper function, it converts a string to an uppercase. So we also have got replace, yeah. So replace, it actually, what the replace does for us, it replaces for us the occurrences of a substring, yeah, which is actually there within a particular string with another substring. Like for example, we can have a replacement of this particular sort. So let's have like, for example, we can say like replace, no, select, um, select replace. So of course, I just want to replace maybe, so in the replace, basically what happens, we have to actually give the string, and then of course give the old string that we are having, and the particular new string that we want. So like for example, the particular string that I'm actually want to replace is, let's say for example, hello, hello world. Hello world, in that manner. And I want to basically replace the word world. I want to replace the word world. I want to replace it with, just give me like maybe hello Desmond, yeah. Replace it with the Desmond, yeah. So it will check through in this particular string, and where it actually meets world, it will replace it with Desmond. So that's actually what that particular line of code does for us. Just that. So let me run this. So let me run that. So of course, what has happened here, it has looked at hello world, but of course it has changed. Yeah, the world here, which I've actually specified here, when you meet world, actually change it with Desmond, so that of course you can have hello Desmond, not hello world. So that's actually what happens in this particular file. The trim. So in the trim, we have got both actually, the leading and the trailing, and of course you also have got in terms of removal of the characters from this particular string that we are having. So that's actually what we have when we are trimming. Yeah. So trimming, what it does for us, it removes for us either the leading or the trailing white space, or some other specific characters that we've actually specified from a particular string that we are having. So like for example, yeah, like for example, we want to basically make a particular trim, yeah. So let's say, like maybe we want to make a particular trim, yeah. So let's say like maybe select trim, yeah, trim. Then of course you just want to trim maybe some particular leading white spaces that we have, yeah. Hello. Yeah, hello, in that manner. So let's have this particular. So of course, let's run this so that we can be able to see what will be our resultant, yeah, output. So you can be able to see that the resultant output here is hello, yeah, meaning that what basically has happened, we have removed the previous, yeah, leading and also the trailing white spaces that actually were in this particular. So of course, you can be able to see there's actually the trailing white spaces, yeah, and of course, there's also the leading white spaces that we had in this particular string, yeah. So the trim actually, we are able to reduce, we are able to remove both the leading and also the trailing white spaces from our particular string that we are having. Then we have got yes, of course, when you use the L trim, that is actually just the left trim. The R trim is just the right trim. So the next thing that actually is there is actually the concatenation. Yeah. So in terms of the concatenation, let's just see how we can be able to concatenate. So to concatenate basically is to join up, yeah, or I think that's the term that I can use to join up maybe some two particular strings. Yeah. So you can be able to concatenate two or even more strings together. Like for example, how can we be able to do that? We can be able to do that in this manner. We can say, let's say like for example, select concat, yeah, into let's say we want to concatenate maybe hello and a particular name, like for example, let's say hello hello, yeah, and then let's have like another string, like say, let's have just maybe a space, and then let's have another string, say maybe a name, like let me just use okay, let me just use Desmond. Yeah, so let me close that in that manner. So basically, when I run this, I'm actually supposed to find hello and Desmond. So let me run this so that you can see that. You can be able to see here, I have hello Desmond. The reason of actually having this is so that there's actually a space between hello and Desmond. That's actually the reason I'm having that particular. So you can be able to see that the output here is now hello Desmond. Yeah, and that's actually what the concatenation does for us. So let's look at again now the substrings that you're having. So in terms of the substrings, we just did say that you can actually have substrings within the strings that you've actually created. Yeah. So in terms of creating substrings, you just use the substring, yeah, keyword. Then of course you give the input string, the start, and the particular length of that substring that you're having. Yeah. So that's actually how you give the substring of the substring of any particular string. So like, for example, let's have a substring so that, of course, you can be able to understand the essence of the substring. So when you're actually having the substrings, I'll just say select substring. Yeah, select substring, select the substring. Then, of course, let me have like let me have like MySQL. MySQL, it's actually the string that I have. So from this particular string, I want to have a substring. So I'll just give like I'll just give particular variables like maybe from 2 up to 3. Basically, what happens is you give the start and the length, yeah, of that particular string. So I'll give the start, maybe start from number 2, and the length is maybe for 3. So let's say, like for example, because actually when we begin with 2, when actually you begin with 2, you'll actually start with Y, and then 3 of them Y, S, Q. So we'll have like Y, S, Q. Let me begin with 3, which is S, Q, and L. Yeah, so 3, comma 3. So I'll just say 3, comma 3. Yeah. There's a comma here. So let's run this particular line of code. The resultant that we have is actually SQL, because actually what happens, it starts from S and counts 3, S, Q, L. Yeah. So that's actually what happens in the in a substring. Yeah, that's actually what happens in a substring. So let's get to look at the list aggregation in MySQL, so that of course you can be able to understand the different things that we have in my list, the list aggregation. So when we talk of list aggregation, basically the first thing that we need to understand is in MySQL, the aggregate function, yeah, they are used so that of course you can be able to perform operations on a certain set of values, or maybe to return maybe a single value as a result of those particular set of values. So that's actually what we have in the aggregation or the string aggregations. So the aggregation functions will say that we want to return maybe a single value from a set of values that we have. So like, for example, we can have different functions, like maybe we have got the count function, basically, which will be able to count for us everything. We have got things like summation, yeah, that actually will be able to find for us the sum, the average, we have got the minimum, the maximum, yeah. We can also be able to perform things like the group concatenation. We can be able to group them. We can be able to select maybe specify some specific maybe specify some conditions, yeah, to perform filters, and so on and so forth. So those are the particulars that we have with the aggregation functions. Yeah. So let's just try to look at some of these particular aggregation functions one by one, so that of course we'll be able to understand. We'll be able to understand what is actually. So let's get just, yeah. Not sure if I'll be able to see. So let me just use the database. What database should we have? My database, then let me show the tables. Just see. Okay, so we have got different tables here. Okay, fine. So yeah, let me start with the first, which is actually the count. So how can we be able to give the count? Yeah, count. So in the count, basically, the count what it gives for us, we can be able to count the number of rows in a particular, maybe in a result set. Yeah. So that's actually what the count gives us. So we can be able to say like select count. Yeah, select count. So count for us, for me, everything, which is actually, so count for me everything, which is actually there from, maybe let me say like from the table called students. Yeah, from the table called students. Let me just run that and see. Yeah, so of course we have got three things. So it will count for me the particulars that are there. We have three in the table called students. There's actually three rows. That's actually, we have got three rows in that particular table. So that's actually what the count does for us. So it counts for us the number of rows in the result, in a result set, or maybe in a particular table. So that's actually what that actually will display for us. So the next thing, we also have got the sum. So the sum basically will calculate for us the sum of the values in a given column. Yeah, in a given column. So let's say like maybe the students data. Did we have any particular column? The columns that are there, we had maybe the ID, the name, the gender, and the age. So let's say like maybe we want to get the sum of the ages, yeah, of the students. So let's say like maybe get the sum of the ages. So get the sum of the ages. So let's say like sum of ages. So we'll say like select sum of the ages, sum of age, sum of age, yes, in that manner, from the students table. From the students table, in that manner. So let me run this. So the answer is actually 78. So what it has done for us, it has calculated for me, the sum, or it has actually added all the ages of the students, which had actually populated in the students table. Yeah. So that's actually what happens in the with the sum. Then we also have got the average. Basically, you know that the average will actually calculate for us the average values in a particular column. Yeah. So we have got average. So the average, we can be able to say like uh, select average, that is the AVG, yeah, average of, let's say maybe the average in the age, yeah, from the students. Let me run this. So that actually goes ahead and gives me the average age as 26, yeah. So basically, I know you know how to provide averages. And that actually gives us the particular average of the values that we have of that particular column. Yes. The next thing is actually to be able to get what is actually the minimum age. Yeah. So to calculate the minimum age, or to get the minimum age, so to get the minimum of the age, basically what I'll simply do is select for me the minimum. Yeah, the minimum, of course, in the age column. Yeah, in the age column from the students. From students, select run for me this. So the minimum age is basically 26. So that's actually the minimum age that you're having. Then of course you can also be able to so minimum returns the minimum age. So we can also be able to have the maximum age. So in terms of the maximum. So in terms of the maximum age, what happens is I'll simply just say select maximum. So right from me the maximum age, and then of course the maximum age that we have, we'll just say maybe age, the maximum age in that manner from the students table. So of course when you run this, it will give me my maximum age. So remember that we only had 26, yeah, 26, 26, 26, 26. So that's actually return for this till 26 as the maximum age, yeah. So in that manner, the next thing we also have is got the group concatenation. So the group concatenation, what it does for us, it concatenates for us the values of a given column into maybe a single string, which is now will be separated by a specified delimiter. Like for example, let's say that let's say like maybe we have got let's just look at this example. I'm just trying to think of an example off my head. That's actually now on group. Yeah, group concatenation. So when you have group concatenation in this manner, so basically what happens here, let's say like we have got select the group concatenation group underscore concat. Yes, group concat. Then of course we'll give the particular column name, like maybe let's say age. The age, yeah. Then of course we'll say separator. Yes. Comma. Just separate for me with a comma. That manner. Let me close that. So I'll just say this actually would come from the particular table name. Yeah, let's just say students. Students. Yeah, in that manner. Let me run this particular so that I can be able to see what happens there. Yeah, so that you can be able to see that I've selected all the ages, and now it has actually been given to me with the comma. Yeah, so 26, 26, 26. Those are actually the particular ages that I have in my data. Finally, you can also be able to group by, yeah, we should actually group for you the particular rows that you have with the same values into maybe a given summary of the rows. Yeah. So the performance of the group by, you can be able to maybe group by based on some particular criteria. Not sure if I have an example there. Then of course, after the group by, we are also, you can be able to also specify a condition to filter the rows having actually, maybe after actually you've been able to group them so that, so after actually the grouping has been, performed. Then, you can also be able to look at the distinct. So in terms of the distinct, you can actually be able to remove the outliers, no, not outliers, but duplicates here. You can be able to remove the duplicate rows from the result that basically you are having. So when you want to remove those particular duplicates, you use actually the distinct keyword. So those are some of the particulars that we have there in terms of the individual functions, or maybe a combinations with other clauses, like maybe group by, have, and of course we also talked about the distinct. Yeah, talked about the distinct. So those are the particulars that we have there. Yeah, so those are the particulars that we have on the string functions and the string aggregations.